Although there are lots of bonefish patterns out there, I like to tie this big bonefish shrimp fly from northern Andros tied with Arctic fox, but you can tie in smaller sizes of course. I call it the GB shrimp or got butter shrimp. Start your thread at the 1/3 position on your hook. Make a few thread wraps and cut or break the thread tag end. After this, make a small bump with your thread by forming a little thread pyramid with your wraps. Grab your eyes and lash them down. Here I'm using Spirit River's eyeballs in 3/16, which are nice and wide. I attach them with 3 wraps, crisscross wraps, 360-degree wraps, and wraps around each eye. And my crisscross wraps are often made by wrapping 3 to 5 times on one side and then doing the same on the other. It's important to get your eyes on there really securely, since if your eyes begin to move, it can cause your fly to fall apart, so take the extra time necessary to secure them down. Always check your eyes to make sure they're straight and tight, and then wrap all the way back, extending a little past the bend, making sure to lay a thread base over the entire shank. The next step is to take a small piece of orange McFly foam or simple egg yarn and wrap it around the thread. Bring it to the top and wrap over the foam so that it pokes out the back. Then give it a snip, leaving a little orange ball. Following this, bring up one of your mono eyes and tie it in so that the eye sticks out about half the shank length, and adjust it if necessary. Then bring up the second eye and follow the same procedure as the first eye. You can adjust the eye more easily when the thread isn't tight, so pay attention to this. When your eyes are adjusted, take some wraps around both pieces of mono to secure them down. You can adjust your eyes now by pulling them to the sides to separate them from each other. When you're done with this, wrap to about the halfway mark and cut each of the eyes. You can use your scissors deep down in the blades or use some snippers if you like. The next step is to tie in a small clump of rabbit fur. Clip off a section, but make sure that your thread is wound back sufficiently. Now tie in the fur and spread the fur so that it makes a little fan. Tie back and then take a piece of marabou and measure it so that it is about the length of the shank or slightly shorter. Then tie it down so that it shoots out the back. After you've tied down, cut off, spread the fibers a little, and then tie back just a little more. With these previous materials, you want to separate the hook from the last material, which is rubber legs, so that they don't get wrapped around the hook. For me, less is often more with rubber legs. Wrap a single rubber leg around the thread and bring it to the top. Simply wrap over the material, but separate the two ends and then wrap back on the last wrap. After this, I just add a little more thread to even the base out a bit more. At this stage, I add some super glue to secure everything down so that the fly lasts as long as possible. I then add a bunch of wraps of thread to speed up the drying process, wrapping back and forth over the glue. If I get impatient, I'll run my finger over any remaining glue, but I still want some wet glue present so that it bonds with my chenille. Now you can tie in your chenille and wrap forward to just in front of the eyes. Begin by wrapping your thread forward over the slightly wet glue, and make sure to fold the chenille back so that you have a nice even chenille body. Repeat this process all the way up the hook until you come to where your thread is right in front of your eyes, where you will tie off. And turn your fly upside down for the final steps. Arctic fox comes in two main forms, the tail, cream colored here, and the body, tan colored. The height section of the tail is usually smaller, and the hair of the tail is longer but has a lot more guard hairs that will often impede movement and which are usually removed. I use body hair for this pattern, which should be combed a few times before use. After you have gathered a small clump, grab your scissors and cut out this section as close to the hide as possible. The guard hairs are minimal, but you can take a few of them out if you like. In the end, you should have a nice clump for your wing. I use a smaller clump for the first of two pieces. Take this clump and tie it down with a few tight wraps. Adjust the hair slightly and then cut off the hair, leaving a slight tag. Now cover this tag with a few more wraps and bring the thread forward in front of the eyes. You will now wrap your chenille forward, crossing over the eyes. Take a quick look at the top of your fly, and if you see any thread, make another wrap over this. Then wrap forward and make one or two wraps in front. You can then tie off and cut the chenille. In order for this fly to sit right, cut the chenille on top of the fly over the eyes. Turn the fly upside down and put on another clump of Arctic fox body hair. This clump should be nice and full, and I usually include small guard hairs as well. Make a few wraps and then adjust the wing to where you like it. You can spread the fibers out a bit more to allow the wing to cover more of the body. Now take a few wraps under and cut the hair. Fold the hair back and build up a small head with your thread. After this, simply whip finish, cut the thread. Make sure to coat the head with your favorite glue or lacquer generously. This is what your finished fly should look like, and you can stroke the fibers back a bit more like these patterns, which the bonefish seem to like. I hope this pattern helps you catch some more fish, and you can find more of this on our site, flyfish.com. I'd also love to share more, so subscribe here if you'd like to see more videos for all types of flies, fish, and techniques. Also shoot us an email for anything having to do with fly fishing. Thanks.